Good morning, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of candidates running for office in Denton County. My guest today is Carolyn Rachaner, running for Place 7 on the Denton Independent School District Board of Trustees. Thanks for being here, Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you.
Your bio is on the written portion, so I'll get right to the questions. Why do you want to be on the DISD board?
Well, I've been working really behind the scenes for the past couple of years to just empower parents to get more involved in the school district, to attend board meetings, to just make their concerns known, because this is our district, it's our children, right? We should have a voice and our concerns should be heard. Typically the feedback that I get is, well, I sent an email to all the board members, but I didn't get a response, actually the past year they've been saying, I've only had a response from Amy Bungus, so I'm grateful that she's on the board, but prior to that it was silence, right, when they would send an email to everybody. So that's discouraging. We should have a board that is responsive to parental concerns, or people go to board meetings and they give their speeches and they make their needs known, their concerns heard, but nothing changes, right? So it's just frustrating to me as a parent, as a taxpayer, as somebody who loves children and wants what's best for our kids and wants parents to be involved.
So you would like the board to be more responsive?
Exactly, yeah, that's one of my main goals.
Well, how does a school board member influence the education system?
Well, school board members are responsible for overseeing the curriculum, so that's huge to me. I think that our curriculum, I want to make sure that it's totally top-notch curriculum. I really believe that, our children deserve an incredible education. There are gaps that I'm seeing in our children's education that's, too much reliance on technology, not enough books and writing and learning cursive and, just things like that.
The basics, yeah, we
The
used to
basics,
learn, yeah.
right? I think we need to get back to really focusing on the basics of education and what's going to prepare children for their careers, for their future.
So other than the non-responsive, what are the most significant issues facing the ISD going forward?
Well, one of my concerns is just seeing a lot of this cultural trends sort of seeping into the school district. I think that our school district overall has done a good job of we're not where a lot of school districts are, which is a good thing, and I mean that in a good way. I know that our school district really does care about education, really does care about career readiness for our children, but I am starting to see some of those things, filter in the diversity and inclusion agenda, which I think is more divisive than helpful.
Well, and I'm going to be addressing that in questions here. Do you think students have lost some education due to the pandemic?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen that in the test scores, in the STAR testing. That's been a big topic of concern.
And so there are ways of making that up for them?
Yeah, I think we have to really focus on making that up, and I know that the school board is currently working towards doing that. I know that's a big focus of the district right now, but I think that that's important that we really laser focus on that instead of all of the sort of emotional stuff that's seeping in as well with the social emotional learning. That concerns me because yes, there are mental health issues to be addressed, but first and foremost, our responsibility as a school district is to educate our children and to make up for those educational gaps.
Right, and along those lines, do you think critical race theory should be taught in schools?
No, absolutely not. I think, critical race theory is an ideology that is very divisive. It pits different races against each other and teaches in some ways a false narrative of history and American history, and I just don't think it has its place. Kids just love each other. They care about each other. They don't see skin color. They just don't think like that unless adults teach them to think like that.
I agree, and that's what that would teach them, to think along racial lines. So do you think sexual orientation and gender identity are topics to be taught in schools?
No, I think those are subjects that families should address based on their own values, their own belief systems. And I feel like our schools need to focus on, math, science, history, language arts, all of the core subjects, foreign language, things like that. They don't need to be venturing into topics that are very personal and very private and very much, conducive to certain families feeling different ways about things. Schools should just stay out of that.
And it's probably something parents should be doing.
Exactly.
Not the.
Yeah,
not
that's
teachers.
the parents' role, not the schools.
Speaking of that, should parents have the right to decide what their kids are taught in school?
I think that there are certain subjects where parents should definitely be able to give consent, opt in if they want their child to learn something that's outside the scope of,
Sure.
your core academics. That should be communicated to parents so that they have the option to opt in or opt out of those specific
Sure, and that goes
programs.
back to what the other question was saying about schools teaching them about critical race theory or gender identity and stuff like that. Of course, parents are not going to decide that their kids should not be taught math.
Right,
Or
exactly.
history and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, do you have children in DISD schools?
I do. I have 4 children. 2 of them are currently in the district.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about school choice, such as charter schools, etc.?
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for that. That's a difficult topic because there's pros and cons to both sides of that in terms of, there's voucher programs and things like that where the money follows the student, and that is concerning to me because anytime the money follows the student, whether it's into a private school or into a home school, you're going to have governmental strings attached to that. So that's concerning. My main goal right now is to make sure that our public schools provide such an incredible educational experience for our kids, and that they're not diving into these cultural issues that so many parents are concerned about. And that, and then parents we wouldn't need any other choices, right? Because our public school system would be something that all parents would want to send our children to.
Exactly, and I
So-
think that's why a lot of parents are choosing charter schools and places like that. They're
Yeah.
afraid of what's being taught in schools.
Exactly.
How about bullying? Does DISD have a way of handling bullying?
I've seen it handled different ways at different schools that my children have been to personally, and so I think that that's something that we need to address at a district level to make sure that there's one policy at at the higher levels to make sure that kids know what the expectations are anywhere in Denton ISD and any of the schools that they're in, whether it's elementary or high school. I've seen it handled very, very well, and then I've seen schools where they're not handling those things well. So I think that needs to be addressed at the district level.
And I think
And
it's
be
important
cohesive.
because bullying can have a deleterious effect on a child's education if that's what they have to
Absolutely.
worry about
Yeah.
all the time. By the way, how many schools are there in DISD?
There's currently 43 schools in the district, so it's quite a large district, yeah.
And Carolyn, have you ever run for office before?
No, I haven't. This is my first time. Nothing I ever really aspired to, but just being a parent and, being concerned. And like I said, I've just always loved children and always wanted what's best for children. Of course, my own, but, children in general, they're our future. And so I think it's really important that those of us who have concerns and that kind of see some of the things that are going on, that we get involved.
Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
see that people will step up and run for office because it's not easy. It's running for
Yeah,
office.
that's
you,
true.
you find out a lot of things that you didn't know before. We're coming to the end here, so is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
No, I would just love to ask for everyone to vote for me. Go to my website, go to my Facebook page, Carolyn for Denton ISD. I have lots of information there. I'm very responsive to questions, and you can go to votedenton.gov to find your polling location and dates that you can vote.
And all of that is on the written portion as well. So I want to thank you for being here, Carolyn,
Thank
and
you.
good luck in the election.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.